Well, I think everybody here knows me. I'm Phil, or better known as StarGeezer. I joined 1,845 days ago, back in April 2021. I hate social media. I don't know if that's fair. I don't hate it. There's a lot of problems with it, and I'm going to talk about some of them today. But I never intended on ever developing on DeSo. I think Camsh will attest to that. I only joined to share pictures. That was literally it. But DeSo took me aback really, because I saw the potential of what DeSo could become well beyond just a social media platform. In my mind, it's kind of like when the World Wide Web was launched. I think you could see a real step change in what we can actually do and how we think about social media and content. A few more little bits about me. Well over 1 million diamonds. And despite my recent lull, because I've been hiding under a rock, as most of you know, for more than a month or so, that's over 570 transactions per day on average. So I'd still say I'm active, even though I'm inactive, if that makes sense. So, Escape Social Engineering is the title of my talk, and that really comes from there's a press release that I've drafted when Nader comes out from under his rock. I think could be good for DeSo to get out in the open, really discussing the pitfalls with social media, traditional social media, why I think it's failing us. What actually is decentralized content? Because we all talk about it. We're all decentralized maxis, but actually, what does that mean? Do many of us actually know what that means? And could we explain it to somebody? And in my opinion, why does DeSo fix the problem? So what is social media, right? It was really simple originally. Essentially, just a digital world where we could share our experiences with other people. That's the long and short of it. That's what social media is all about. Back then, it was innovative. I think that there's quite a few of us here with grey hairs. We know that we used to watch TV, we used to read newspapers, and we used to listen to the radio. It was one-sided. You got told, you never engaged. Okay, and the idea was we participated, so it became a two-way street. And for me, that started with news groups, bulletin board systems, internet relay chat, if any of you remember that. ICQ, which was another protocol. I used to spend a lot of my teenage years in an online chat called The Park, which was just a website, a very basic website where text just grew down the page as you chatted with other anonymous people. And then we started seeing the development of the whole concept of a social graph. So that's, and we talk about the social graph as well. What is it? What does that mean? And that's really the entirety of your digital identity, essentially. So it's you, it's your profile, it's your login, it's who you're connected to, and it's your content. That's your graph, is your entire social presence, essentially. And that concept was introduced by the arrival of 6 Degrees. That was really niche. I don't know if anybody had heard of that. Live Journal, and then when people really started to get involved was MySpace, and then shortly after Facebook. And what was quintessential about those early platforms was customization and freedom and just fun above all else. So what is it? It's about connection. It's about these things here. It was connecting people, sharing ideas, building a community. It doesn't have to be a real world community. You connected with people that were completely different to the people you met in everyday life. And at the same time, we wanted to stay informed. We wanted to express ourselves. Okay. But what happened? Very quickly, things began to change. And it was the potential that exploded. And alongside that, people saw a big opportunity for money, and money makes the world go round. Okay, we stopped being users and we started being the actual product itself. So all it was about was getting, well, it still is to this day, this is the current model that all traditional social media abides by. It's about driving ads, driving your data, collecting your data, keeping you online as long as you can. That's why we have algorithmic feeds that feed you what they think you're going to engage and look at for the longest time possible. So it's all about keeping your attention, because the longer you're there, the more you engage, the more you look at the feed. That's more data they're collecting on you, your interests, who you engage with, what triggers you, what gets your attention, and serving you ads at exactly the same time. So the goal isn't about you making connections, you having fun, or connecting with content that matters to you. That's been the paradigm shift we've seen. Okay, and it's really unhealthy. And this is one of the things that I'm most passionate about with Web3 and decentralized social media, is those algorithms, they're not learning what you resonate with, they're learning what gets your attention. And what gets your attention more than anything else is outrage, shock, and anger. It's not about true connections. It's not about happy connections. It's not about, oh, I really love this picture or cat photo, for example. The cat photos are only served to you because you spend time on them. It's not because you like it. And that's why we see this issue of a downward spiral where something that upsets you, even if you don't click on it or respond to it or react to it, you hover on it. And that's what the traditional social platforms are measuring. They're measuring screen time. So if you're happy scrolling away, but all of a sudden you see something that opposes your views completely, it learns that and it serves you more of that. And the problem is it's quite nuanced in that kind of content gets promoted more and more to you and your wider connection and network. So we form these things called echo chambers, where you're seeing content of the same type all the time. And that's how misinformation spreads like wildfire. And it's not that something that anybody is actively doing themselves, and they're probably not even aware of it, but because of the way the algorithm serves you content, people are simply unaware that the information they're being shown isn't accurate or doesn't represent the true picture. Sorry, Carrie's got a problem. It's not a problem, a question. You're muted.
I'm muted. Phil, just a remark about the algorithm. It's been designed the same way as they studied how drug addicts are given rewards, micro rewards every time, and the algorithm uses the same approach. So we are addicted to the algorithm. That's also part of how they designed the algorithm to keep you hooked on the screen. Yeah, and that surfaces now, of course, more and more. Yeah, thank you. So just want to add that.
That's okay. And something a really important point I want to make about that is it's not a partisan issue either. This isn't, oh, X is right wing and Facebook is left wing or anything like that. It doesn't matter where you are, left or right, mainstream or extreme. You're all being, everybody, all of us, myself included, we're all being manipulated by, it might be bot farms that are engineering content and engineering engagement to promote content. It might be monetization. So it might simply be that certain players or entities are paying for your time. It might be, like I say, direct advertising. You've just been profiled, you're in a certain demographic, or you've got certain interests. Or it might be platform level bias, because we know that X does lean right and Facebook and other platforms do lean left. We know that. That's I don't agree with that bias, but that is their choice. They're a platform. But it is the algorithm, as Carrie says, it's like addictive like smoking. It's been engineered to get as much of your time as it possibly can. And it damages us in so many ways, because it's not just what you're seeing, but creators are incentivized or forced to play that game themselves. So somebody who starts off making X content or Y content ends up gearing themselves to what brings in the traffic. So it's not about them having a connection with their audience, it's about them winning against the algorithm. So I see it's damaging for everybody involved. So what's the root of the problem? The root of the problem is that you get locked in. It's a walled garden. So you spend, I don't know, like a famous influencer spends 5 years building a platform on X or YouTube, for instance. Because it's a walled garden, the platform itself owns your content, your profile, your social graph, that combination of everything that is your identity. You can't just leave and start on Facebook, because you start from zero again. And that's why this entire concept of decentralization is really interesting, because not only do you break that lock with the platform, but you own the content and you own that graph. So you don't like X, you go to Y app instead, with the same content, with the same social graph. So what is decentralized content? It's really simple. It's essentially just content that's living on a shared network. Now, that's not DeSo. There's a whole plethora of different ways to achieve that, blockchain and non-blockchain. But the first starting point is to decentralize the content, unchain that content, essentially. Added benefit, you've got no single point of failure. So take X as the example. X's servers go down, that's it, you're gone. But in the decentralized network version of this, there'll be 5 or more, hundreds ideally, of servers still with your content. So it doesn't matter if any single entity goes down, you're secure. It's not controlled, so you can't be deplatformed. You can move between apps. And again, one of the things that really attracted me to DeSo, or the concept of decentralization, is this portability, just being able to move as you see fit. Okay, and it's not just you, it might be your audience that wants to move. So I'll just move my head out of the way, because this is quite busy and I don't expect anybody to digest this. But this is just a real quick example of the differences between different platforms. So a centralized platform, the examples would be Facebook or X. Here you can see, obviously, it's controlled by one entity. They own all your data. They can deplatform you if they don't like you. The algorithms, the social engineering, it's all about engagement and driving traffic to ads or to creators that they favor. It's easy to use. It's Web 2. It's as simple as it can be, and they've had 15 years to really tweak their front ends and make it just work and be really friendly. The adage, so simple your grandma can use it, essentially. Then you get into this decentralized area that isn't DeSo, it's not blockchain, but it's federated. And the examples of that would be kind of Mastodon, okay, or Blue Sky even. And there you have a distributed network of content, but it's not on the blockchain. It's not immutable. So your content could still be deleted by the host you choose. And that's one area it improves over the traditional centralized social, is that you have a choice. You can choose which of the networks you want to sit on. And it is, I'll say it's portable, but with caveats. Quite often you have to request your data, which will then come off of the server or be transported to a different network. Okay, so there is some portability. In terms of social engineering, they tend to be much better. There's a lot more user choice, and each of the individual networks on that protocol choose their own both moderation and algorithms that are in use. But again, technical knowledge needs to increase to be able to use a federated decentralized network. So it is harder to use. And then finally, we get to I'd say is full decentralization in the case of all data being on a blockchain, and that's the DeSo example. And here there is no single entity. There's not even a network controlling. We've got a distributed network of nodes. Your content spans all of them. Your entire social graph resides on every single node in the network. There's a lot of this still needs to be developed because we are young, but you could have user level, app level, and node level filters, algorithms, and also in terms of censorship, this is the most resilient, because regardless of any app or node level censorship that might apply, your data still resides on the network. So I don't think many of us are extreme enough, and I don't think there's that many people that are extreme enough. But if you did have incredibly extreme views, your data would still exist. Most of the apps might say that they don't want to serve your data, but your data still exists, and you could spin up your own node or your own app to actually provide that to other people. But where we really struggle is this bit here. It's an incredibly steep learning curve for new users to come to DeSo or a similar blockchain. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of risks. And that's something we and the core team need to improve. And it's something Safety Net's trying to do. I think it's something all of us as a community try and help each other with. But yeah, that initial learning curve is huge for DeSo. What is DeSo? Right, so hopefully most of us here know this, but it's a layer 1 blockchain that was purpose-built to hold social transactions and social data. Everything, your social graph, your likes, your follows, everything you do is stored on chain. And the way Nader achieved that is he's built a set of standardized transactions that are really flexible, and it's astonishing what he's done. You can store all sorts of data in transactions, and even if there isn't a transaction that fits, we've now got associations, which you'll be hearing more and more of recently. Associations are the most flexible of all, and you can store anything you like essentially in those. There is a space size limit, but honestly, the types of things you could do with the associations really open the floodgates for DeSo apps. Why is it different? In particular, it's designed for high volume. We do need to stress test this. This is a subject Safety Net's talked about, but it is designed for high volume social activity. And I think we're quite safely in the realms of 80,000 transactions a minute at the moment, but we could probably go far beyond that. Block finality is really quick. We're talking about 2 blocks every second now, I think, or 1 or 2 blocks a second. So if you compare that to Bitcoin or Ethereum or others, you're normally talking minutes, and in some cases you were talking kind of 10 minutes plus for a block to be finalized, whereas we're talking about seconds. And where it really shines from the crowd is the gas fees, which probably are heavily subsidized at the moment and probably will increase in the future. But at the moment, it is incredibly low. Just the example I'll give you is me. I've been here 5 years. I've done over 1 million transactions, and that's cost me $3.80. So it's $3.80 in 5 years. I can't really complain. What's the difference? Content, identity, and your social graph are fully on chain. We won't mention media because that's another topic for Safety Net. We know that media isn't on chain. Whether that's important or not is a whole separate conversation. Apps do not own your data. They simply access it. And I think this is an amazing feat, because it doesn't matter how many apps we have, all of those apps will be hooking into the same set of data. And it's this idea of social content being a utility. So one shared social layer across all the apps on the network. Why does it change everything? Your identity works everywhere, which means you can move from app to app. You can hop. You know, I do, but I don't like DeSocial World. I can go to Diamond app. I don't like Diamond app. I don't know, Zordon's done something that's upset me. I can go to Beyond Social and hop and hop and hop. And I don't lose all of my friends. They come with me. My content comes with me. And I switch apps without starting again. It's like switching out a SIM card in your phone or a memory stick. You know, it's that simple. You create for people, not algorithms. Now, I do believe in time, as the app layer matures, we will obviously get apps that are doing their own algorithmic feeds. But the key difference here is you've got choice. You know, if that horrible StarGeezer starts putting really manipulative feeds in place, you can leave and go to DeSocial, for instance. So above all, your social life becomes portable. You can move as and when you like, and your audience isn't locked into one platform either. Who wins? I think it's pretty obvious. We all win. That's the idea. So users have control, they have choice, they have freedom, portability. Creators, I did mean to stress earlier that I think creators are probably the most affected like the current walled gardens and manipulation, because they have to curate for the algorithm and they have to curate for their audience who are also locked in. But obviously with DeSo, their audience isn't locked in either. They can jump to whichever app suits them. So you've got this flexibility with your creators and your audiences. And then in contrast to what Kanchi's just put in the chat, monetization is also easy on DeSo. There's a way, a few different ways we can do this. Jay Happy was just talking on the feeds about all the creator coins. I really liked Creator Coin, the original. I still hold all of my coins. I thought that was a great model for creators to engage with their audiences, and hopefully we can see a return to that. But long and short of it, I think everybody wins, and the biggest thing for me is it flips this paradigm of apps trapping users rather than them trapping you. The apps are competing for you, so the best app will get your attention, not the app with the most users, because all of the apps will have the same users. So the vision, social media being infrastructure or a utility, not a monopoly that traps you. Reduced manipulation, not being locked in, having open content that's shared, really maximize that content. If everybody's feeding into the same kind of pool of content, everybody wins. Social media without walls. And as we started, social media shouldn't be manipulating you and locking you in. It should be a choice. It should give you freedom, and it should give you all of those things that we created it for in the first place. A safe, not necessarily a safe space, but a happy space where you can enjoy engaging with other people and sharing content, learning, building communities. Okay, so hopefully that's been interesting. I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments.
First of all, really very elaborate.
So I was
Nice
spending,
work, Phil.
I was planning on
Nice
spending
work.
a bit more time, but I ended up having to ad lib it in the end because I didn't really I didn't really practice it like I planned.
The portability. I still wonder, and it's not about beyond social, but we have the situation now that some things, portability is broken between focus and the rest of the ecosystem. How have you any views on that in the future? Can that be repaired, for instance, if we all try to?
You're talking about the way they've done all sorts, but the way they've done their tips in particular.
For instance, or the NFTs, they don't show up in focus, like I said, one of these days.
Some of it's like features. So you'd still see the NFT, but you wouldn't know it was an NFT. It would just look like a post.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a feature they're missing. The diamonds, other people could reproduce what they've done. It's just the problem.
I think it's also an innovation. They like to make diamond payable in any currency. That was their intention, but they broke the compatibility with the other apps that way. So personally, I think it was quite a messy way that they've done it, but it does showcase being able to use any token, which is interesting. I personally think it's quite messy. Similar to how they've kind of toed and froed with formatted content in different formats over the years as well.
Yes, but I think just like you said, Phil, the best app at the end will win. So if I don't like focus, I will use something else. That's the beauty of the blockchain of DeSo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the core elements are shared between all the apps. So the posts are there, the likes are there, the social graph is there. So it's just how you surface it and how you combine it that makes it different. But and I think focus was also, as I said, it was an attempt from them to do things differently. And they made too much of that and broke the whole thing. And they're repairing it now. But yeah, so yeah, let's see what next app. I think they are also just demonstrating, like Diamond app is just a demonstration of what DeSo is about. And other apps have served later on that. Yeah.
But not every
maybe they ever open source focus. You never know. Then.
But not every app has to provide every feature, every possible feature. You know,
No.
what I'm not sure about NFTs now, but when you post an NFT, doesn't Focus create a link to NFTs? I'm not sure now, but what they do,
No, I don't think so.
because you know, when I publish complete cartoons, I do this as blog posts usually, and Focus doesn't support blog posts. But what they do, I don't know if you have noticed this, when you look at one of my blog posts on Focus, they add the text, view this post at DeSocial World blog, and so on. They create the link to DeSocial World there. I didn't add this. Focus adds this. But this is perfectly fine in my opinion. When they don't want to support this feature, okay, they show a link to where you can watch it, so it's fine.
That might be you're posting them on DeSocial World, aren't you?
I'm posting on DeSocial World, yes.
Yeah, I think it might be. I can't remember. It's been a while since I played with it. I think it's wherever you post the blog post. I think the main body text of the post gives a link to that node's blog link for it.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you posted the same blog post from Diamond app, it would probably, I think it would give you the link to Diamond app instead.
Okay, that could be. Okay.
So it's like there's two text fields that are being used. There's the body text, which is standard post, is where that it basically takes the title and the description. I think you use short description, and then has read this blog post app. And then in the extra data of the post, which again is the flexibility of these transactions, in the extra data you've actually got the formatted blog, which as a blog is RTF. It's a Delta RTF format. Sorry, none of you are interested in that at all. But it's what Quill uses essentially, which is the editor that they've baked in. But again, it could be markdown content. It could just be plain text. But yeah, that's stored in the extra data.
Okay. But anyway, it works that way. People find my blog, so it's good.
Yeah.
I think that's also one of the things you made, Phil, with that. You have the bridges between all the post formats of every different app, and you can switch between them on your Beyond Social, right? So you know how the links are constructed on each of those apps, and you can switch between pick any app you want to see that post. That's a nice bridge as well. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask, why did Focus make it where when you give a diamond, it's like the equivalent of 4 diamonds? I mean, what was the reasoning behind that? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, for example, I noticed in my notifications, I don't know his real name, Gatusu or whatever. He was really kind and gave me a diamond or something on one of my recent posts. And he's always really generous. And because of Phil's app, I saw his name with like a little $sign by it. So I thought, I feel like he gave me more. And forgive me, Phil, I don't really know. I wish I could get with you to ask what your little things mean on your app, because you have a lot of information. So I kind of looked at it, and the amount, only because Phil's thing showed me, I saw where he had given me like 24 cents, let's say. So I thought that was like 4 diamonds, but it wasn't. But I think it's because he uses Focus, and he gave me a diamond on my post, which is equivalent to like 4 diamonds on any of the other apps we use.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think. I mean, I have to apologize because I've literally logged into Focus in February 2025 or whenever it launched, and I might have been on it once since. So I'm not that familiar, but they're not diamond numbers like we have. It's presented like that, but there's no diamond level. It's just a monetary value, plus a sizable chunk taken off of your tip that goes to the core team.
Right.
Is it 10%? Is it 10% or is it more? I don't know, but a large amount is taken off of the tips on diamond.
Yeah.
Oh well.
A diamond is the DeSo currency. So if the price of the DeSo currency gains 1,000%, 10 times 10, then the value of each diamond would also go up.
Yes, but that's on any node.
And Focus not. Focus is always 1 cent and 25 cent or $1. It's always a fixed dollar and cent amount, no matter what the DeSo price is.
Oh.
You've made me log into Focus.
Yes.
Yeah, they're very clean dollar amounts. I've just put it in the chat, like you say.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that everybody knows. This is nothing new, but like Phil said in his presentation, the fact that Facebook and apps like that are very easy. I mean, they're so, it's almost, you can't exist without them. I mean, I don't have a Facebook page anymore. It's been at least 4 years since I've been off of it. Prior to that, I was off of it for 4 years, and I only got back on it because I had opened up a hamburger restaurant, and you can't own a restaurant without having Facebook presence. So once I closed my restaurant and then some other things happened, I just didn't like seeing my friends like argue because all the politics, and I just got off of there. And it is sometimes very annoying because if you want to participate in anything, they'll say, tag us on Facebook and Instagram, and I don't have those. And I know this is really stupid, but this is just an example. So it's Earth Month this month, right? And on Earth Day, I started playing disc golf again. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's like golf with frisbees, sort of like frisbee discs, right? I used to play it in college. And so this company makes these discs with recycled plastics. I even have a couple I bought from them that are made from recycled Crocs. Do y'all have Crocs over there? Like these shoes are called Crocs? Yeah, they're really kind of ugly, but I mean, everybody wears them. Okay, so they're recycled. And the company, I'm proud of them. They're doing a really great thing, but you could get this free disc if you took a picture of you doing a few things at like the disc golf course and then posting it on social media and tagging them. And I'm like, I wouldn't mind doing that. It's a great cause for Earth Day. It brings awareness, but I can't participate because I'm not on social media. And that happens a lot. So I don't know how we're ever going to get people off of Facebook. I really don't. I don't see it.
So I have to be on Facebook because that's where all the parents at the school talk. And I don't want to be there. I hate Facebook, but I have to have Facebook Messenger.
Well, the thing is, of course, Facebook has a lot of investors who paying to hook you up to their campaign, and that's how they make the advertisement behind everything. I think that needs to change. But if you only are behind ideology like we are, we see the danger, we see the potential of freeing your content, but majority of people don't care. They don't care. They just want to consume, and they like the micro addiction they get from being on Facebook because they got served what they like. That's their bubble. So how do you compete with that? That's very difficult.
I mean, there's some content that I haven't even posted on DeSo yet. And it was just this private tour that I got from my astronaut friend when we were in Kennedy Space Center together underneath Launchpad, like 39A or whatever, which is now you can't even get under because SpaceX is using it. But I got some really cool photos and some really cool information that a lot of people don't even know exist about what they call the rubber room. Anyway, I made this post on Facebook back when I was on it, and it kind of went viral. I mean, I got like 300 and something comments, which was a big deal to me, considering that it went out to people that I don't even know. Like, it just started spreading. But I haven't posted it on DeSo because I don't know. I mean, it's really, really cool stuff, but I've just been waiting kind of for focus to take off because I want people to see it. Not that I don't love you guys the most, but I mean, I don't want 8 people to see it. Or 16. So I don't know. I'm just waiting.
Yeah,
just
that's what we are all doing. We are all waiting for the big, the more active daily users that needs to come, of course. So yeah.
Just posted in the chat. It was just a scientific research paper I was skimming while putting this all together, and one of the findings was research found that the centralized platforms intentionally recommend misinformation to cater for the behavioral addictive tendencies and emotional drive of humans. It's quite interesting to read, but yeah, essentially knowingly spreading misinformation just for clicks, which is essentially what we covered and what I talked about, but I don't know what evidence he has for this, but I thought it was quite interesting. But I have to hand it to Nader because I don't know if I've still got the link. When I was starting it up, because I shared the press release that this is kind of the talk was based on, I shared with Carrie, Steve, and Arnold about a month and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Back when I was a bit more positive on DeSo. And some of that was inspired by a podcast Nader did 5 years ago, where he was talking back then. Okay, he was talking all the things that we all want to see before he went off doing all sorts of exciting stuff that he really is interested in. He was very focused on the core social mobility, decentralization, and it was that shifting the paradigm and flipping the switch essentially on the current state of affairs. Now he seems to have lost his way on that, but if you revisit some of his early podcasts, it's really interesting to see how passionate he was about breaking this current cycle that we're all stuck in on alternative platforms. Thanks, everyone.